If it feels good, it means source agrees with that thought.
Damn, I'm nervous.
They don't call it the hot seat for nothing. You mean you don't personally talk with infinite intelligence every day?
My wife seems to think so sometimes. My question comes back to, I've heard Abraham many times refer to sex and intimacy being the best thing that there is on the planet for us humans.
Well, now you've reformed it.
Well, yeah.
Just slightly. But what we have said on a very consistent basis is that alignment, you and who you are, when you are in alignment, the energy that flows is not different from what often flows during sexual experience. In other words, sexual energy and alignment are not different vibrations.
I guess I understand that, and I experience it when I'm intimate. And my question, I guess, comes that as we become older and we with our partners for a period of time, that seems to go away.
Well, here's the interesting reason why. When you explore what are the vibrational laws that are being satisfied when you are having a successful experience. And all day today we've been talking about how life has caused you to create this vibrational reality, and when in any moment in time you're not doing something that violates that, then you are in alignment with it, and that alignment makes for ecstasy. So now let's apply this to a sexual experience. When you first come together, you are both usually more optimistically looking for the positive aspects of one another. Our friend talked earlier about the deliciousness of a child. They're just more tuned in. And there is not much that is more vivid or more widespread, and therefore a better example for people to understand than that feeling of being sexually drawn to someone. In other words, it can be, it isn't always, but a real tuning in. And what are the components that are the same? You are single-minded usually, and you are usually not negatively focused. When two people come together and you are both in a position of absence of resistance, and you are collectively focused upon the same thing and are therefore in tune with who you really are, then you can have a very delicious experience.
True.
So your question is,
how do you keep that going?
Well, you keep it going. Look at a relationship in general. We talked about this relative to children. Most people, the longer you live, the more you find to fuss and worry about. So if we are putting, and we are, sexual ecstasy in the same category as vibrational alignment, then wouldn't it follow that the same things that cause you to get further and further and further apart from who you really are the same things that would cause any experience, like a sexual experience, to be less exhilarating? Jerry and Esther were in a restaurant last evening, and Esther was watching. She loves to watch people, and there was a table that had little children, and they were having a wonderful time. They were coloring and playing and squealing and misbehaving in the most delightful way. And then there was a table across the way of very elderly people who looked very crabby, who it just seemed that nothing could go well for them. And then across the way were some college students who were at the bar having a very high good time. And Esther commented to Jerry, it's fun to watch them. You can just feel their positive expectation for life. They've got their whole world before them. They're really in a hopeful stance. She liked the feeling of freshness about them. And we say to all of you, it's up to you to keep that freshness alive. But most are experiencing life from these flawed premises such as with time comes decline, and with moving through time there is less joy experienced, and the prime of our life was such and such, and we will you'll reach it and then move past it. And what we're wanting you to understand is that the prime of your life is always in the moment of alignment. That's what prime is. That's what sexual ecstasy is. It's that moment of alignment, you see. And so how you keep it alive is by making lists of positive aspects, by looking for reasons to feel good. A lot of people, what happens to them is that they get into relationships where they find fault and find fault and find fault, and then they think the best thing is to just leave the relationship, and then they go someplace else, and they have that flurry of new interest and excitement, but before they know it, they fall right back into those patterns. The best experience, and we're not trying to talk you into staying with anyone or to moving on. That's not the point that we're making. We're just saying that wherever you are standing, you have the option of coming into alignment with who you are or not. And when you consistently take the option of lining up first and lining up first, then you discover that whatever relationship, wherever you are standing, it continues to blossom and give you everything that you are wanting. You have to realize that when you are having a relationship with someone, that you are collectively putting new and improved things in vibrational escrow. And when you turn consistently to evaluate and talk about and contemplate what's in that vibrational reality and tune yourself to it, this relationship that gave birth to it, and now your attunement with it, it has to just get better and better and better. Relationships have ups and downs. You have things you agree on and things you don't agree on. But if you care about how you feel, you must see your partner through the eyes of Source. And if you consistently see your partner through the eyes of Source, then you consistently use your partner as an excuse to line up with Source energy. And when you consistently use someone as your excuse to line up with Source energy, you're going to have a really good relationship with that person. And when you consistently use that person as your excuse not to line up with Source energy, you're going to come to resent them. You're going to come to wish that you weren't together, you see. The person, and we mean this in the nicest way, is irrelevant.
I hear you.
You're just using them as your excuse to line up or not line up. Mm-hmm. And when someone has the very delicious good fortune of being your object of attention and your deliberate reason to line up, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, are you all in for a glorious, delicious ride.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. The best relationship to have is one where you say to the other, I figured it out. My happiness is not dependent on anything you do. Wouldn't you just love somebody to say that to you and mean it? And really mean it? It's my job to be joyful. Now hear it. And you're irrelevant to my joy. Does it still sound good? You got to mean it. You are irrelevant to my joy. Now, at first it sounds off because you want to be relevant to their joy. But if you're relevant to their joy, then you're relevant to their pain and relevant to their success. And before you know it, it's going to turn on you. If you promise someone that you'll keep them happy, big trouble ahead. If you'll say to them, it is my absolute promise to you that I will keep myself in vibrational alignment with who I really am, with love itself. And whenever I turn and hold you as my object of attention, it is my promise to you that I will have already done the work to have tuned into Source, so I will be showering the eyes of Source all over you. Someone says that to you, go home with them now. But don't tell your friends, because your friends will think they're weird.
You will never find yourself in the point in time when the subject of relationships is not an active part of your now experience. For everything you perceive or notice or know is because of your relationship with something.